Alright, good evening. I am running a little late today. Just getting my daughter off to bed. It took a little bit longer than usual. That's quite alright. Now, we're going to be continuing a little bit with this girl here because I have not been able to get any painting done this entire week. It's been quite busy. But today I'm finally going to get a little bit of a chance to do so. So, we're going to give it a go. Alright. Now, this paint's been on here for a while and I just kind of spilled it about everywhere. Kind of got all squidged around everywhere. Now, what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to be washing down this this paint so it's very thin, so it's acting hopefully more like a glaze. I'm going to try and build up some of these layers here to be a little less chalky. At the moment, like looking at them, they're quite chalky and the transition isn't great. I might actually get a little bit of brown in there first as well. Oh hey, evening! Thank you so much for joining. Oh, lovely to catch you. I saw your update video on like what you're planning to do for the future. Very exciting, very exciting. I am looking forward to seeing lots. It's gonna be good. Yeah, I'm doing all right. Things are busy, but I'm doing okay. I've been, as much as possible in any downtime that I get, I've been working on the Defiance Mission 2. First turn is all finished, introductions are all finished. I'm working on turn 2 right now. So my, hopefully, once I can actually render the first turn and the intro properly. Yeah, I've got a few problems with the render at the moment. Thank you. Yeah, I've got some problems with the render, so I've just got to kind of fix those in DaVinci's Fusion, and then once those are rendered, I can pop that on for my Patreons. So that they get a taste of that. I'll probably put it onto my Discord for the very teeny tiny community that I have that kind of follow me on there as well. So I'll probably share that there, possibly in a couple of places, just to kind of get also some feedback on people who are interested on the kind of the changes I'm making to the format a little bit. But it's certainly easier this time around than it was the first time, and I'm learning so many more new tricks and just kind of getting a bit more efficient in the stuff that I need to do, and it's kind of like easy to go, I know how to do this now. So it's been fun to edit. It just takes forever. So I've been like, oh, I want to do this video, I want to do that video, but I'm kind of putting everything to the side so I can just focus on that video now. Which means my content is going to drop off for a little while whilst I finish off this Defiance video. But that's alright. I'll get it done and then I can get on to the next mission. I've got to paint the Charonid as well. Yeah. Well, I saw you said you wanted to like hire an editor and things. That's kind of cool. But yeah, it's busy work. Yeah, the edit is always the thing that takes the longest. Like, but for me, it's like the edit is one of the more fun things to do. I hate the recording of the audio, like recording my voice and things. I'm just like, come on, let's get this done. It takes me forever. Oh, a bit too much there. Yeah, too much of a control freak to let a freelancer do the edit. Mine. I'm terrible. Can't get enough done. And right now, like, it's just, it's funny, like when you keep yourself busy, you suddenly, you know, you get lots of ideas and things that you would like to do, and time is just against you for doing it. And then like when you do have time, I tend to be kind of lazy and not get anything done, and I'm kind of sparse on ideas. But right now, yeah, my brain is like full of stuff I would love to do, but I just know I've got to focus on one thing at a time. I'm really like, I like the idea of doing a little bit of game design as well. So in the back of my head, I've got this kind of game idea that I'd love to try and explore, and maybe just make a kind of like a rough version of, perhaps in Tabletop Simulator, of using like the world of the Apple TV series C, where everyone's kind of blind. It's kind of like a post-apocalyptic world of blind people, and doing a kind of like a battle system about a battle system, a models battle system where all the characters are blind in it, and you're battling one another. So there'll be like, you would have like, I think a bit like Malifaux, where you have characters with very unique abilities and things, but rather than basing things on line of sight, you have like line of hearing kind of thing. And so you could have like your battlefield where there's like there's trees and things like that and foliage, and literally like tapping a tree kind of thing, which draws somebody in. So it's like, that's your pull system kind of thing, where it pulls the people in, forces them into an engagement where you get like a bonus for keeping them off guard and things like that. I think that would be kind of really cool. And so I was kind of like thinking about it today. At first I was thinking of it like a full-on like miniatures game, doing inches and things, and then I was thinking maybe hexes would be kind of easier to get started with some idea like that, a bit more inclusive as well, but you can still kind of do lots of complexity and things in there. That would be kind of something that it's just kind of popped into my head, and I'll be like, oh, I really want to do that, because I've been kind of enjoying watching C, and watching some of the battles and how they kind of approached doing battles as kind of blind people would approach a battle. It's kind of cool. So yeah, it's just kind of a thing that's in the back of my mind of like, oh, that would be kind of fun to do. But again, time is not being my friend with any of these kind of things that pop into my head. Yeah, it would be a fairly unique one. But yeah, I would, and like you could, I love like the visual style of that series is so cool. In C, it would be great to make minis for. Is what I would imagine. God, it just gets me excited thinking about it. Like some really cool, like getting miniatures of Baba Vas and what's his name, the Witch Hunter General and things. They're so cool. I can't finish this lady. She's gonna be a bane. I'll never get it done. That's how I feel. It's it's kind of interesting. The first season was very good. I just kind of it's completely unrealistic, as it were. It's a fantasy thing, but I love that kind of thing. I love that kind of concept of a world building with a kind of an interesting approach of having everyone blind. Like everybody's blind, so it's like, well, how does a village work? How does a town work and things? So they've actually got their town, and they string these lines of rope between all the buildings, and so they just kind of use a stick that they just kind of like hit the touch the ropes to be able to navigate through the towns, and there's like sometimes bells and things hanging around so they kind of know where they're going to go. It's kind of cool. And just like, yeah, when you see the battles and things, how they do the battles is kind of cool, with a lot of sound kind of things and like kind of tricks where they kind of like have like each of the tribes and things have certain calls and things that they do. Season three's now on. I'm not as into it as I was with season one and season two. But there was a kind of a cool sequence at the beginning of season three where there's basically this one group, the Trevantians, I think. They're basically a bit like a Roman Empire of sorts. And so they kind of built this kind of like shield wall surrounding them as they were being surrounded by enemies. And they built a kind of shield wall. But the opponents, these kind of weird barbarians, which we don't really see much of except for just this scene, because it's like on another front that we're not really following a story of. It's just kind of like gives them an excuse to do this thing with bombs and stuff. But the enemy would have this basically. I guess they use like a trebuchet with a wire coming from it, and so they fire this thing. Fire this spear into the Trevantians, and then they use the rope that's connected to that spear to just run along. They just kind of place their weapon along the rope and just run along so they know where they are, and then as soon as they reach the enemy, they just jump in and start slashing away. It's just pretty nuts. Again, completely unrealistic, but very, very cool visually. So it's kind of got me excited to the idea of like, because one of the things with like wargaming is obviously on a table and things there's like Infinity, for example, like the a lot of the guns have very long ranges. And why have I got this weird song? I thought I removed all the weird songs. I'm just gonna skip that one. There we go. Yeah. But because everyone is, sighted, like the battlefields are actually very close to one another, and so it's kind of, I think I don't know. There's like I think it kind of builds in a new element where sound is the key factor and not sight, as it were. I think it would make for a cool game. And because in the show as well, there's like there are people who have kind of been born with sight, and they of course have a certain advantage, but their hearing is often not as good. So I really like the idea of having, like, you could have some sighted in your army who can spot for the blind, but then you can have like other units which have things like smoke bombs and stuff which obscure line of sight from those opponents, so you can get in close and things like that. It would be kind of cool. I don't know, I was just kind of like rattling some ideas in my mind of how I might approach it. I'm not quite sure how I do the combat and things, but it would be kind of a cool thing to play around with. wondering if I just leave this suitcase now. And the blends are a little bit better. I really need to make an Infinity battle report. I really want to do it in the style that I've been doing for like Defiance. But I got to get the Defiance stuff done first. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Yeah, yeah. I think that's the thing. Like, I make videos of games which are either dead or no one, doesn't it? The very small audience has a real interest in. I've got an idea for the format that I'd like to do for Infinity. It's just Infinity's like a difficult one to do as a battle report. I've never really seen a good battle report for Infinity just because the sheer amount of like blocking terrain makes it very, very hard to follow what units are where and how they're positioned and things. So my idea of an approach would be approaching it a little bit like I did with my Aristea series, where there's like a top-down view and you can kind of see where everything is on the battlefield. For that though, I would probably actually, take a very high photo of the battlefield so I can see everything. Then I would probably use the symbols of the specific models as the placement, and I would animate them across as the game's going along. But then always have these kind of like cutaway shots of like the cinematic shots of the action, along with the special effects that I would add in, and that would be probably how I would approach doing a battle report for Infinity, where it's you got equally the close up personal shots that would be really, really, make it exciting, along with a tactical view that makes it very easy to understand what is actually happening. I just suck at the game, and so any game that I would make of it would be like, why is he doing that? Why this player is terrible. That's the only thing, but it would be visually interesting, I think. But yeah, that would be how I would approach that. But yeah, I'd love to have a go at doing it. But yeah, it's I don't know what it is. I don't know what I was gonna say. I would love. Oh, you know what? I'd love to. I'd love to. At the moment, we were umming and ahhing about coming back to England for the Christmas holiday. I get 3 weeks of holiday around Christmas time. But the prices of tickets at the moment were just kind of astronomical, so it's just kind of like we're probably going to hold off this year. But definitely when I come back, I'll have to kind of give you a bell or something. I have to try and make an excuse to come over to Holland, maybe. That'd be kind of cool. To be honest, that's an easy sell for my wife as well. She would love it. She would have to go there, I think. So yeah, that would be kind of cool. That would be kind of cool. Thank you very much. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Oh man, I gotta get back to Europe again sometime. It's been so long now. It's pretty much since COVID I have not been back home. It's pretty nuts. Do you ever go back to England, like to see family and things? Or do you just kind of stay where you're at in Europe? I guess you're pretty close, so it's pretty easy to go back and forth if you want to. Yeah, yeah. I've heard it's very good for cycling because it's flat. So it's kind of very relaxing in that sense. My dad is actually kind of an avid cyclist, so For him though, Italy, the north of Italy is his thing with the lots of mountains. Probably less so now that he's getting on a bit, but I'll probably still do it. Right, I've got to try and paint this bloody cat. This lumpy ground. Well, you know what? England is very hilly. It's pretty cool. Japan's kind of weird. Like, luckily in this area, it is actually kind of hilly. That's quite rare for Japan. Usually, what Japan is like mountains and then really flat valleys. So lots of cities and things are built on these massive flats, sort of where the rice paddies probably used to be and things like that. But then you hit a mountain and then flats, mountain and flats. So when you're traveling through the countryside and things, you're going through a lot of flat land and then suddenly you have to kind of go through a mountain or around a mountain and things. Tail that I've painted as a finger. It's a great place to visit. There's a lot of interesting places to go and see. For me though, I'm not. I haven't really done a lot of travel here. I just kind of live here. It's kind of all I'm doing is just living here, and doing my thing. But it's cool. It's nice. For me, I think personality-wise, it just suited me a bit more. I'm a bit more of an introverted type of person, and so Japan just kind of fits that type of person, I guess, a bit more sometimes. But as I do more and more kind of like miniature gaming things, it is a bit of a frustration that I can't easily play games and things, and a lot of my time is taken up by work. When in Japan, but it gives me time to at least, I got time to at least make the videos that I do and things like that. I don't know if you should have moved here. I mean, here is, if, like, summers are crazy hot and humid. So, like, even the shade isn't respite from the heat. It's nuts. You just sweat. You just stand still, you sweat. It's crazy heat here. But it's a very safe country. Like, people just don't steal anything really, and it's very, very just nice. A bit blunt and in your face. I don't mind that so much. I don't mind blunt. One of the things, kind of like your initial, experience can be with the Japanese is they're very, very polite, but in many ways they are also not very polite as well. They're kind of very much kind of just in their own, sometimes just focused in their own space. I mean, that kind of happens with anywhere where there's lots of people. Like if you imagine like London versus going out to the country, there's kind of the same here. When you're in cities and things, people are a little less friendly. But I don't know, like there's just sometimes there's moments where I do get frustrated with the Japanese way of thinking of things. But then I go back to England and I get really frustrated with English, so that's more of a issue. Oh, great. Hey, oh, at least I don't know. God, it sounds like they're all like the fathers. That's a little bit scary, I must say. But that's kind of mad. Sorry, I'm trying to paint this cat as a station master cat from Wakayama, and I think I'm failing pretty miserably. So I'm just kind of placing in. Oh, I'm out of shot actually. Um, so you can't get by with the British pleasantries. Oh no. It's a bit like what's it? I've heard in like Scandinavia as well, like lots of places. I think like in Sweden especially, is that people love like when you invite someone to your house, you show them every single room in the house and talk a little bit about every single area of the place. I guess it's a kind of a pride in the architecture of your own home and things, and what you would like to show guests and things. I saw it on a Japanese. It was on a Japanese TV show because there was a Japanese woman who'd married a Swedish guy. I think it was Swedish, and she would always tell him like, whatever you do when they come over, don't show them this room. This is where I've just stuffed all of the junk that's in the house and keeping it out of the way. Do not open this door. And like without fail, every time as he's going around the house, he opens that door and stuff. Steve's like, and this is the little room. Like loads of stuff starts falling out. It's like, oh, maybe not that room. And things. And she's just like, oh, he doesn't listen. Kind of thing. So I can see how that's stressful for a Japanese wife, because I kind of know how the Japanese women are like. In some respects, and I do feel for them in many ways. It's funny, like a common thing that like the foreign husbands kind of end up dealing with here is like I don't think Japanese women know what to do when a man actually helps around the house sometimes. And so when you go to like fold clothes, do the laundry, wash the dishes, do any of these things, they can't help but see you do it and tell you that you're doing it all wrong and try to micromanage how you're doing it. Whereas they're actually used to like, certainly, it's less so these days, but certainly used to the man not doing any of those things. And like all of the foreign guys just kind of getting confused as to why they're getting yelled at for trying to help do the housework. And I've experienced it. My wife now kind of understands it a lot better, and she stopped telling me off for trying to help. So yeah, it's kind of funny. Oh, happy birthday to your brother-in-law. Oh my god, that sounds awful. I'll be terrible at that. Oh god, I'm awful at like just telling my parents a happy birthday or remembering when their birthdays are and things like that. I'm awful. I'm absolutely awful. That's amazing. I can't imagine doing that at all. I'll get in so much trouble. I don't know what that song was. That was a bit weird. I'm struggling with this one, to be honest. I've chosen a colour scheme that's kind of really hard to replicate. It's a cat which does not have very many uniform patterns over it. Because it's a tiny cat as well on her hand, it's very difficult to try and get it right. Yeah. I must say, the culture here of, for me, like, my wife also kind of being very particular about how I do stuff in the house has made me a lot stronger at actually doing a lot of the housework in a more efficient ways as well. And every so often the nagging has actually made me more efficient, and now she gets frustrated when everything's done, and she sometimes can't nag at me. It's funny. It's just kind of an interesting cultural thing, I think, sometimes. It is very curious coming from another culture and kind of entering into another culture, actually putting yourself into it quite a bit. No, you can never win. I mean, that's kind of, I think, a rule with for men around the world with women. You can't win. It's very difficult to win. So you can't have the mindset of I'm going to win. I'm just gonna do the best, most honest job I can, and hope that is enough. Oh, I'm very lucky my wife doesn't speak English, and she won't be watching any of this, of course. Yuck, 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 yuck. But yeah. Oh my. Oh, I'm so happy you came on today. It's made my evening. I almost didn't do the stream tonight just because I had a busy week. I was like, I gotta get the stream. It's my only time to paint. About the only content I can actually really release at the moment whilst I'm doing the Defiance video. Oh, that's very lucky. That's very lucky. Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to get my wife into Infinity. Thank you. No, it's yeah. My wife kind of looks at it and goes, I don't quite understand. she'll play board games and things, which is really fun. So we'll do like every so often we'll play some board games, and my daughter enjoys the board games. It's funny actually. My daughter at 3 years, I think it was still at 3 years old, maybe 4 years old. I think at 4 years old. She actually I played as kind of a simpler version of X-Wing, the tabletop game X-Wing, and my daughter got it. And so that was kind of fun to introduce her to that. I need to get her English up to snuff, her reading, so that she can read some of the basic stats and things for games. So maybe try and get her into doing some of the simpler stuff. So even if it means I have to jump back into a little bit of Warhammer, maybe with something like Warcry, that might be a good way of getting my daughter into miniature gaming. What? Oh, and I haven't seen the other videos. I have to watch those. Lilith is your wife. Wow. What? How did that work? So, like, during a game of Infinity, that she was winning, sent her into labor. What? That's a curious one. Not heard that one before. I don't think I'm going to be able to do the cat's eyes, but I might be able to do something for the whiskers. Let's see if I can get this. This white is still pretty thick, which is amazing. Dang it. Kind of fudged that one up a bit. Well, that acts as a bit of a wash. That's kind of worked. Okay, I think for the cat, I'm probably just going to stick with that before I screw it up even more. Keep it simple. Okay. Wow. Oh well. She must be pretty competent to beat you in a game of Infinity there. Now I'm kind of really wanting to get back into Malifaux again as well. I think what's going to happen is probably I'm going to try and paint up all of my Infinity. I'm trying not to buy anything at the moment. Oh wow, cool. Playing for 6 years. Yeah, I'm sure she would be able to completely batter me at the game. I'm pretty awful, to be honest. But yeah. Thank you. Yes, I shall. It's actually More so, it's a case of because I just have a lack of experience of playing because I don't get to play very often. I'll play like once a month if I'm lucky on Tabletop Simulator, and so I've only played like 4, 5, 6 games in total, to be honest. And the things that I get wrong are kind of just the basic setups. Usually I deploy really badly, and then I'll understand all the concepts of the game and understand everything, and I just realize, like, after the first turn begins, like, oh, I put everything in completely the wrong place and I've screwed myself over. That's usually what happens to me. Right. I think I'm gonna paint this thing brown. Kind of a bit unsure of how I'm gonna approach this thing on her belt. Let's try maybe a bit of the ivory. Yeah, deployment is the thing that gives me the biggest headache in the game. It's the bit where I kind of realize if I'm gonna have a chance or not. Hindsight is 2020. I'm like, oh, I should put that there and that one there, and that would have been a much smarter use of this. And I'm screwing up the model. That's not good. Right, I think I'm going to possibly leave that model for now, and I'm just going to do the base and just be fine with it. Yeah. Yeah, I have plans for how the list runs, but then I realize that I've perhaps also forgotten a key element just because of a lack of experience, where it's like, oh, this can focus on these types of things here, and then my opponent brings something that I realized I haven't actually prepared anything to be able to counter it with, and then I go, okay, so that's something I've got to be thinking about for the future, and maybe I need something in here which might lead me towards this or that, or I can use this model a little bit in a smarter way because I didn't realize what it could do, that kind of thing. But that's kind of what makes the game really, really cool. So even though I like lose every game, I enjoy it because it's fun, and it's amazing how much a game can actually swing. Sometimes you feel like a game is just going to be a complete cakewalk against you or something like that, and that doesn't feel like fun. Or if you're going to cakewalk someone else, and that doesn't feel like fun. But there are other times where I had, like, basically over half of my force was killed in the first turn because of a very poor deployment, and then just managed to get a lucky roll in to take down the tag that was just eating through my army, and then managed to start pulling back points and winning for a bit, but I just didn't have enough forces to be able to keep any momentum going. But it was it made the game, it was still fun though, because where I could have just given up, it was kind of fun to try and see if I could make anything work with this very limited force that was left over. That kind of was, that was interesting to me. It was very, very, very cool. But yeah. Right, now, painting this base. First of all, I got to make sure it's fully black. So let's get the black out. And I use my NAF brushes for this. Yeah, I think it's always worth it. I'm not the type of person who will just be going, you know what, I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna give up. I like to play it to the end just to see what happens. Unless it's like obviously going to be no fun for either player. But usually it's a case of, even if it like feels like you're going to lose, it's worth giving it a go, because you'll be surprised what you can pull off. I think that's kind of how you got to do it. And also, like, even if it looks like you're going to lose, there's still a lot to learn from the game if you carry on to the end, because every game's a new experience kind of thing, so there's always stuff to learn from it. But yeah, so I love being the underdog and trying to figure out how to win the game, although I never do. No, yeah, that's good. But it doesn't hurt as much. It doesn't sting as much as just giving up. When you know that you've given yourself that kind of objective of like, I think I'm gonna lose, but I'm gonna try and reduce the margin of the score as much as possible. See if I can do that. Then it's totally worth it. Just to give yourself that kind of small victory within the game. Important kind of psychological approach needed for playing any kind of war game. But yeah. Alright, I wonder if it's me. Am I getting a drop off at all? I may be. I can't check on here. I can check on my restream. Did I have some... I don't know. Yeah, I am dropped off. Why? Maybe I'm back. I can't tell. Oh, it says I'm fair, so I should be okay. Okay. Yeah, I get like some internet cutout problems from time to time. It's kind of really annoying. Seems to only happen when streaming most of the time. I don't get it too badly, but I have had it, and it's annoying. Oh my god, my hand just missed the paint pot, the water pot completely, and just hit the side with the brush. Luckily, I didn't hit any miniatures with my black, and just be like graffiti over finished models. That's happened before. But yeah. All right. Well, what am I gonna do next? So, whilst that dries, I've got to then. I got to do the lining first. That's the first bit. So I do this kind of like red and orange lining on this base. So I think I've got a model here as an example. You can kind of see there. And I'm going to do this grilled effect. And so we're going to be painting that on as soon as it dries. I usually have the problem of painting too soon. I've got to do the inside. Whilst we're waiting for that, I've got to do the inside of the kimono. Any ideas on what color I should do the inside of the kimono? I have no idea. Thinking I could do that yellow, so it's kind of that might be too much though. Maybe a blue to kind of complement alongside the purple, so it's just shifting slightly to another color. So yeah, let's just try blue. Let's try blue. My whatever music player I use and put on random, it loves this bloody song. I've got to remove it from my playlist. Just doesn't make sense. Where are we at here? Oh, it's a very quiet one. Even I can't hear it, so that probably means you're not going to be hearing any of that music. That's okay. We don't need to worry about the music. Right, let's try and paint this inside of the kimono blue and see if I'm going to ruin the model. I'm not sure about this color choice, to be honest, but we'll see. Be careful of that leg. Oh, even with this holder, it's kind of difficult to get in there. I've also entered a painting competition, but I have not started the model at all. I'm going to have to start doing that soon. So I'll probably do that on Saturday. Get started properly on it. Okay, so let's go a little bit lighter. I'll probably just, I don't really like the paint very much, but I like the color, but the actual paint itself is a pain to use. That's Altdorf blue. GW color, it's not very well mixed. Needed to give it more shaky. Try and kind of wet blend this a little bit. Don't need it to be too strong or anything, because it's going to be on the inside of the leg, so it's not getting a lot of light. We don't want it to pull too much focus. Catch it in the middle a bit more on the sides, and hopefully the wet blend. Slight wet blend will just hopefully create the transition that we're looking for, and we'll be all right. Should be good. Oh, you know what? I haven't actually checked to see if my YouTube link is actually working properly, so I'm just going to check that by putting it into chat. Test. Just need to check. Yes, it is going out to YouTube. Good. Because usually I get a lot of my views through YouTube rather than Twitch. So it's kind of interesting. Sometimes I'll get Twitch viewers, sometimes I'll get YouTube viewers, and very rarely both at the same time. But you're worst. Okay, right. Oh, it's kind of turned out okay. I'm digging that. It's all right. It's all right. Nothing brilliant, but it's good. Right, let's get to doing the actual base here. So I'm going to start off with Corn Red, because Corn Red is just the best red paint there is that I know of. Just a lovely color, lovely, kind of very opaque, good to use on just about anything. It works great as a base for things as well. Just lovely, lovely color. Then we're just going to basically line all of these areas here. think we've lost the dice gods. Oh, hello there, Andrew Jackson, BR. Thank you for joining. How are you today? I'm just trying to finish off this model here. She's coming along okay. I've got to do the base at the moment, so we'll try and finish up the base tonight so I can just call her done. And then I'm going to be happy, because then I'm going to be getting on with a competition model. So I'm going to be entering a painting competition and trying to get a little bit of that. Oh, I'm sorry that you're feeling a little sick. That sucks. I recently had COVID, and it made me feel awful for a while. But I'm glad you're getting better though, for whatever whatever ailed you. Was it illness or self-inflicted, such as drinking too much? Are you doing some hobby at the moment, or are you just chilling at home? Ah, bad Mexican food. Alright, yeah, you can't completely say it's self-inflicted then. It's just unlucky. Been there. Where are you joining us from today? Or what time is it where you are? For me, it is 11 p.m. Ah, hello Linda, nice to see you drop in. How are you doing? This is gonna be so difficult to do. Why did I stick it to the base? I'm gonna go try and get between her legs. Oh god, that sounds horrible. I'm gonna try and get between her legs to paint the floor here. You're welcome. Oh, infinity. Hey, so you're 10 a.m. So you'll be, yeah, almost 12 hours difference there. This is the morning for you. Yeah. That's great. Oh, thank you, thank you. I'm kind of, yeah. I've enjoyed painting this one. This is kind of my first attempt at doing kind of a wet blend for the dress, so it came out okay. The floral pattern I went a little bit too heavy on. I think it's not quite come out as tidy as I wanted it to be, but it's looking all right. I'm actually almost. I've still got it on the palette. I'm just gonna try and bring up the blue of the inside of the kimono a bit. Just a tad. Just did a bit of a wet blend just now on here just to make this blue. Just want to pump it up a little bit. I probably just mucked it up, but I'll let it dry and see what happens. Yeah, I had a go at doing the cat. The cat's kind of okay. It's not quite exactly what I imagined for it, but it's close enough. So for the time being, that'll do. If I have an inspiration or desire to come back to it, I might well do and try and do a better job of painting the cat. Right, I think my base red is down. Oh, sorry, I can't see. My base red is down here, and I'm going to go ahead and start adding the next color up. So usually my next color up for this, if I remember, it's been a long time, is to use Mephiston red. So I'm going to stick with that color scheme. I've got all these other lovely reds that I got from the Vallejo Nocturna range, but I'm going to save them for other things. I'm probably actually going to be using them for my competition piece. I want to make a very, very vibrant red cloak. Try and really up the contrast on my competition piece to just see how bright I can go and like just vivid. I'm hopefully I can get enough time to do it before the competition deadline passes. But it'll be fun to do. I'm kind of determined to get eventually into this is kind of like a competition I try to do every time I can. And it's kind of it's a fairly big one with a lot of people doing it. And I go into the intermediate category at the moment. As soon as I can kind of hit the top 5 in intermediate, I'm going to try and push myself to advanced, but I'm not there yet. But that's kind of the dream, is to be able to go, you know what, I think I can join an advanced category painting competition. But that's going to take some time and practice and patience. And a lot of it is just kind of patience to just do it again and again and again and again until you just can do a lot of stuff naturally, and then spend a lot of time just making something look good. Sometimes I honestly get a little bit lazy. But competition pieces are fun to do because then you got an excuse to kind of sit down and actually have a go at it. I'll hopefully start painting it on the stream on Saturday, as long as I can do it on Saturday. I think I can. I'm going out on Sunday, so it should be okay. I'm good to paint on that day that I said, Saturday. That'll be fun. Right, pop down some orange red. We're going to mix that in with the Mephiston red, about 50-50, and then that should make it a very kind of reddish orange. Just gonna pop this down. Hopefully you can start to see a bit of a gradient between the reds and the oranges that we've been placing down. It's got a low opacity. It's very translucent. Oranges are kind of very translucent paints. They're kind of hard to paint with. Oranges, yellows and whites are kind of like the really hard to manage color schemes, but there are tricks that you can use to kind of make them easier. But I'm using the translucency of the orange hopefully to create a kind of an easy-ish blend between the reds. The reds are very, very strong. Yeah, it should be fun. I'm going to enjoy kind of getting into painting it. I'm going to be, I mean, you can't really see it so well, but this is going to be the competition piece. It's this, basically, this kind of warrior, I guess she's like a sci-fi warrior nun, but she's just got this cool pose where she's holding an amulet and posing kind of really, kind of like a nice cool pose. So it's kind of like a fun one to just try and, I don't know, play around maybe with lighting and emphasize a certain feel to the model. Perhaps try and get this holiness about her to kind of shine through. That would be a target for it. We'll see if I can do it justice. Now, because it's an online competition as well, the photography is very important. Now, recently I feel like my photography of the models has been improving, so hopefully that will also help me in the competition. Keep falling out of. I'm going to just bring the camera forward a bit because I keep falling out of focus, don't I? I'm going to muck up my whole setup now, aren't I? As it always happens when I do this. Right, so hopefully when I do that, you can see. Okay, that means I can actually move my light a little closer to me, but then it's going to move my other camera. Oh, wow, I can actually move it pretty close. That's kind of handy. That's nice. But now this camera's well off, causing all sorts of problems for myself. That'll do. That'll do. That'll do. I'm not gonna mess around too much. So, are you doing any crochet at the moment there, Linda? Or have you been working in your garden? I wonder if I make this extra vibrant by bringing in a little bit of yellow. That yellow's gone really watery and wet. I'm not sure if I want to do too much with that. Well, it acts pretty much as a glaze, which is probably going to work out kind of nicely for me. Oh, right, sorry. I haven't been following the chat. Yeah, take care, Andrew. I hope you feel a lot better. And next time, have a better Mexican. Oh, lovely, lovely. Any kind of pattern or character you're knitting onto the cardigan? I think that's enough. It looks like molten rock at the moment. Right. Dark grey. Ah, nice. Well, good luck. I hope it comes out nicely. Is that going to be for yourself or for anyone else in the family? Or just a tester? Me asking you lots of questions about your cardigan is actually taking you away from actually doing your cardigan. I realise. Okay. Oh, good luck. I hope it comes out really nicely. And then you can, from that test model, make lots of wonderful cardigans for everybody. Good luck. Good luck. I'm in concentration mode right now as I try and get this base complete. Ah, hello. Hi, Symbiosis. Welcome. Are you doing any hobby at the moment? I'm just trying to finish off this model that's been kind of hounding me for a long time. Oh, I got a small, I got a rate of 5. Hello, welcome. Thank you for popping into my stream. uh, Yeah, that counts. Anything that you're gonna slap some paint on counts. Yeah, best of luck. Trying to slay the grey is always the work of a mini painter, a mini wargamer. I got plenty of models to be getting on with as well right now. I've actually kind of been good at not buying anything for a while and just going, okay, I just need to paint some stuff, getting it all done as much as I can. So yeah, I been painting up some of my Infinity models. I got a few more Infinity models to get done. Then hopefully, if it comes on time, around Christmas time, I'll be getting the Kickstarter, and that's gonna be again another slog through a lot of models. But hopefully we'll get there. But yeah. Alright, I'm going over now with just highlights for these grills. I'm just kind of just randomly placing at the moment. I'm not really thinking too much about it and just hoping for the best. I hate doing bases, but we'll get it looking alright. What pile of models are you actually working on getting through? What is this song? Oh my god, I've really got to go through and get rid of these weird songs. Ahoy. I don't even start on the 40k stuff. Oh god, I've still got Astra Militarum models from about 6 years ago that I haven't painted up. Oh, and even I got some Space Marines as well that I have had for a long time that I've not painted up. I've got a lot of Ravenwing bikers to paint in those sets. And I probably will never get around to doing them because I don't play 40k at the moment anymore. But they'll sit there waiting to be painted one day. Maybe I'll get around to them again. Who knows? But I hate painting bikes. Bikes are like I thought it would be really, really cool to have a bike army, and then I started painting them. I was like, fudge! These are the most annoying things to paint ever. Actually, my first YouTube video was me painting a Ravenwing biker to compare with how I improved since I started when I first got like the Dark Vengeance box set, and how much I improved as a painter, and could kind of see how much I improved by doing that video of comparing one of the first models I painted with taking the same model and seeing how well I paint it now. It was kind of a fun first video. I enjoyed doing that. Okay, this model's coming together now. Almost there. It's got a little bit lighter, and we'll just catch a few bits. That should be good. Oh, Orc Biker Army. Well, at least it's colourful. Ravenwing were all black, and it's just like, oh, I just don't want to paint this. Lots of edge highlighting to do. Fun. Just so I can see the army. And yeah, it's just, I don't know. Getting out of 40k so I didn't have to paint hundreds of the same model was kind of nice. Because I spent now so long doing the most basic of models. I have, let's see if I've got, oh, I don't have it here. Shoot. There was a bike that I painted. Actually, oh, you know what? That model that I said that I painted, the biker, is right on my desk, actually. I think I was showing it maybe another day. This was him. This was the Ravenwing Sergeant that I painted a couple of years ago now, when I started my YouTube channel and things. This was the guy I painted. I was pretty happy with how it turned out. On the shoulder pad I wrote in Japanese, sashimi, for my username Zombie Sashimi. It was fun. Adding some nicks and scratches on him. Looking at it now, it's pretty rough in places actually. But it was kind of fun. It turned out alright. Right. Let's get you finished. Just a little bit. Hey, we all start somewhere, and believe me, if you put your time into it, you get really good. I have like no artistic ability, but I really love painting miniatures, and it's just that, oh my god, this bloody music, what the and another one, god damn it, I've really got to remove those. It just takes time and practice and repetition, and you can get really good at painting without having really much in the way of artistic ability, as it were. I really want to be better. That's all it really takes, is just a desire to be better. The thing with doing 40k though is you kind of have to temper certain expectations, just because you're going to have so many models to paint. So you need to kind of be able to just knock out a whole bunch. If you ever look at my Astra Minotaurum army, looks awful. It's like the paint jobs on them are just terrible. I hate looking at them. It pains me to look at them. So it's like if ever I got back into 40k and I wanted to do my Astra Minotaurum again, I would be seriously tempted to repaint the entire army, which is a big army. That's like, it's like 70, 80 odd troops, line troopers, and then like 5 or 6 tanks that I got. No. And that's a small army for Astra Minotaurum. I mean, it's just too many. I'm sure you understand with having orcs. Okay. I'm going to call her done. Otherwise I'll end up spending God knows how much longer on this bloody project of mine. So yeah, she's basically finished. I think the cat will be fine as she is. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it. I'm not gonna varnish her yet. I'm probably just gonna like leave her, give myself a day of like reflection on it and see if I want to paint more of her. But I'm pretty pleased with how she turned out. It's hard to see on the video there, but I was really pleased with how her eye had come out. Her eye came out well. The really good thing about this particular model is there's only one eye to paint, and it was on the side that's easier for me to paint as well. Right, now to get this model ready for competition painting, I'm not going to be sticking her on a base. We're going to be doing her base later. Well, I say later. I'm going to be doing her base probably as we go. I'm going to try and build a base. I really want to have her raised up a little bit, and maybe we could do something fun with the base a bit. I think that'd be kind of cool. Maybe we could play with object source lighting. If I do object source lighting though with a fire, I don't want to have a red. Wouldn't want her to have a red cloak. I think then I would have probably something like a dark green, so we have a see. Can we see her up close? Let me let me bring down the camera. So we're gonna get on a little bit of a flyby then. Whee! And we have to kind of go to the ultra wide setting, I think, because that's what can keep things in focus. So I think that, oh, it's sideways, isn't it? Is that better? There we, oops. Hold on a second. I've gone straight. Ah! No! That's what I want. I don't know why it changed out of that. Now you can see how I stream. Where were we? Ooh. Hello. 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 You. Hold on a second. Ultra wide. There we go. Oh, hello Rocket. Welcome. So yeah, this is, hopefully you can see there's the finished model somewhat up close. Sorry for my shaky hand. On ultra wide, it's going to be a bit all over the place. But yeah, this is basically her more or less finished. There's some areas that I wish I would spend more time on, but to be honest, I've got to get on to other projects. But yeah, she came out relatively good. I was pretty pleased with the transition of the skin tones. And again, if you can see the eye there, came out pretty well. Okay. So yeah, that's the Japanese high value target for Infinity the game, with her station master cat that she's carrying in her hand. Okay, that was her. Right, out of this ultra wide mode, and we'll go to the telephoto, and I'm gonna clip you back in where you're a bit out of the way. I can actually start moving around. Hopefully you saw that okay. I don't know how well that came out on the screen. I think it came out probably okay. Now, for my competition piece here that I'm going to be doing, I'm probably going to have to clean up some of the mold lines and things. I can do that later though. I don't need to do that on the stream. But I do, rather than actually putting her onto like one of my like this painting handle, because it's going to make it a little bit more difficult to paint in some respects. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be drilling a little hole into here, putting in just one of my pieces of wire that I have lying around, and we're going to be pinning him and then just putting it into this block so that I can paint from every angle very easily. So if I want to do some airbrush work, I can always do airbrush with it if I want to. I'm not sure if I'm going to do any airbrush work. I might try and do this one fully hand painted, but I like having the options just in case I get some inspiration for doing something. Luckily, she's got like the what we call like the tactical terrain, tactical rock that she's standing on, and so we can put a pin through this very easily. That'll also make it easier for pinning her to actually to the base as well. So I'm just gonna screw into it a little bit with my drill. Oops, so you can see there. Oh, glad you liked it. Thank you, Linda. But yeah, it's it was fun painting her. It's a really nice change to painting all of the guns, the gun-toting warriors and things. I mean, I don't really stick with one sort of style anyway, because I've got like the aliens as well, and that kind of changes things up for me a lot. I'm making a mess on my table. It's okay. I'll clean it later. I'll just go in a little bit more. So hopefully we can just pop in the rod. with just a little bit of glue perhaps, just to help hold it in place. So yeah, that's basically what we're going to be doing. So yeah, I'll basically glue that into place, and then that can then go into there, so that I can then paint from all angles fairly easily. I'll probably stick a glove on as well when I'm painting her, just so I can handle the model a little bit more. That allows me to get a little bit more control over what I'm doing with the model, and that should be all good. And to be honest, I can probably keep this rod in. I'll just clip it short and use that to help me to pin it to the base that I'm going to be using. So I'll probably get some cork, and we'll make a kind of like a raised area for her to stand on, and we can kind of give the base a bit more of a three-dimensional effect, perhaps put something on the lower part of it, so we can kind of create a bit of a story. Maybe if we had a little fire going or something like that, that can help to give us some object source lighting that we could try and have a go at doing. I'm not very good at object source lighting, but it would be a good challenge to do. Always good to challenge yourself for competition pieces and things. Or I could just, I think the other option I was going to do is just like work on making a really nice high contrast paint job on her. So, okay, that's pretty much in there. That's great. Okay, I'm going to glue that in place. Sure, I need some glue. And then we can just slap on some paint as an undercoat. I think I'm going to avoid the object source lighting, just because I don't have as much time on this as I would perhaps want. Oh, good. Yeah. You saw like what I was doing with that model from the very beginning, wasn't it? I got to see bits of the process as it went along, which was, I guess it's kind of nice. That's good. It just takes me a long time to get through models. But yeah, for this competition piece, I could do object source lighting, but it means that I'd have to put in a fair bit of time to make sure I get that right. And I'm not sure if I have that time this year, what with trying to edit my Defiance videos. But certainly I do like the idea of doing the red, and I've got red on my palette right now, so I'm kind of tempted to just undercoat her red, so that we can work off of that first, get this lovely vibrant red working on the model as much as possible, and then we can maybe work on those other areas and seeing what kind of colors we would like to do the armor and things. But I want to try and get her cloak down first, so that we kind of get a sense of how vibrant we could get her. And if that works, then we can work off of that and see how we do. I'm not going to need anything special here. I'm just going to use this. So rather than undercoat black or any other kind of like monochromatic color, we can undercoat. To be honest, it's a bit too thin. I put too much water in. We can actually undercoat with the red, although yeah, it's way too thin. Kind of screwed that up a bit. And then anything that we do over that will hopefully kind of keep some of that core value of the vibrancy of the red across the model. So yeah, I'm doing a poor job of undercoating here because I've actually done it way too thin. We'll need a few coats just to make sure that we've got a strong coating on there. But it's sometimes nice to base coat, to even doing like an undercoat with color, just because it does help make the final thing look a little bit more vibrant. I don't know how much it's going to affect that, to be honest, but it kind of, when you're putting coats over like greys or blacks or whites even, it sometimes loses intensity. So starting straight off with like a strong color as your base and working from that kind of gives your model more intensity as you paint more. I don't know. I might be talking absolute gibberish right now. And just going, I just want to paint it red. And I said it as well. I should probably fill in the gap that I had here, but to be honest, I don't think you're going to see the gap once I'm painted it. So it's not too bad. I think we can get away with it. So I want lots of kind of contrasting colors and things. So red is a kind of a main theme. So if we do a split complementary, I'm gonna try and load up Adobe Color, and maybe we can have a quick look at doing a split complementary pattern and seeing what colors might be good using this red as a base, and seeing what we get. I think that might be kind of fun to do. Okay, again, I'm just doing the initial coat here. This is not a finished coat. We need to do a lot more. I'm not going to paint, you know what, I'm not going to paint the blade, because the blade I'm going to probably do a completely different color to give contrast to the model. God, it's a good thing I put it on this pin, because now I can actually kind of reach those difficult to reach places a bit more easily. Not that anyone's going to see those areas, because I'm not going to photo the bits where there's any bare metal that I couldn't reach. But let's try and get as much of it as possible, just for my own sense of completion. And make sure I don't put too thick a coat on the face there. We want to keep those details in nice and strong, so that when we're painting them they look nice and beautiful. There we go. I'm glad it makes sense to you. I don't know if it makes sense to me. This is a problem when I just start talking to myself. I'll start speaking and then kind of listen to what I just said and then go, what am I talking about? Or get sidetracked in my own mind and go off on another tangent. All right, lovely. Okay, so yeah, that gives us a quick base coat on there. I can come back and do some more of that later once it's dry. Right now though, let me see if I can pop up Adobe Color, and we can maybe have a little play around in there. So I've just got to figure out how to do that. So just a moment. Adobe Color. There you are. All right, if I can bring this up. Yeah, there we go. So let's try and get a little bit of this up out of my screen. Boop, 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 boop. Right, let me just. It's going to take me a moment just to do this because I'm not prepared in the slightest. So I want to get. This one. Okay, that's pretty much spot on to what I need to be able to see. So done. Let's turn that on. It's really small. It's itsy bitsy. Okay. There we go. I've got. Let's put that there. I'm going to just drag that over so we can see. There's the color wheel. Okay, so you can see our color wheel there. This means I can't actually see my chat, my restream chat very well. But basically what we're going to try and do here, we're going to try and do a split complementary color scheme. Now our main color is kind of going to be a deep red. So do we go pink or do we go orange? I think I'm going to be leaning towards an orange perhaps. So I guess I've already did this a little bit with my with some other models where I kind of got this style of thing going, but we can always have a split complementary elsewhere, I guess, but it'll make more I don't know if I like that. It's getting too close to it. I guess it would be alright. It's like almost a triad basically. Okay, let's have a look at what a triad would look like. So if I'm going in with these kinds of reds here, I want it fairly strong there. So it would have reds, perhaps some yellow in there, and the kind of the almost turquoisey blues. I don't know if I like that. Let's go back to the split complementary. So let's lean it towards an orange, so we make it a bit fiery. And then we're gonna have, if it goes a bit orange, then yeah, having the split complementary of blue in there is good. And then leaning in with a little bit of the lighter edge of green. I am undecided. I'm gonna have to fiddle around. What if I did like a purple? It's gonna be green and things in there, isn't there? Yeah, so I think with the red, I may just feel it out for myself. I'm not sure if I want to do this again. I did this very for another one. I can't speak right now. I did it for another color scheme that I did, which worked out really well. Actually, I've probably got some models of that. Oh no, I don't, do I? I put them all away. They sometimes come down. Oh, there we go. In the bottom left there, you can kind of see the color scheme that I went with there, with the red, with the turquoise, and a little bit of green in there. But I went with a darker green. So maybe we could go with a bit of a lighter green, perhaps. I have to have a fiddle. I basically just want everything to pop really, really loudly as a big contrast. So I might just play around with my highest kind of intense colors and just see what happens. It'll probably come out really bad. Sorry, I've kind of fudged up my screen really badly. So let me just switch off the the thing I've got going on there. Let's turn you off. There we go. But yeah, that's about that. I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna finish up there for today. I finished the model that I was doing, so I'm glad that she's finished, and I'm gonna start doing the competition piece soon. And we'll figure that one out as we go along. So yeah, but thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much, Linda, for being there. It's always good to see. And yeah, check out use the color wheel. It's really, really handy for finding complementary colors and figuring out kind of color schemes that you can do. So it's kind of a handy thing. It's just a free website from Adobe. Just go to Adobe Color and you'll find it and Google that way. But anyway, thank you very much for joining. Take care, everybody. See you again next time. I'll be back on, hopefully, on Saturday. I don't know if Upturned Table will be available or not, but Jeremy from Upturned Table, but I'm going to talk to him and see if we can be online again together. But if not, I'll be here painting away. But thanks very much, and take care, and good night, goodbye, good morning, wherever you are, and take care. Bye. I think I've said take care many times, so let's just throw in one more for the hell of it. Take care. Bye-bye.